Hello everybody, my name is Yona and this is Caballero Draws. If you haven't seen my last video yet, it's a studio vlog, so I'll be going over my art process, the stickers I'm making, the prints, and the prep for an upcoming convention. That'll also be next week's studio vlog, all of the things I need to get ready for then. But this week I thought, since it's 2020, it's a difficult time and we're all reminiscing over a nicer, perhaps simpler, like past, I thought it would be nice to have a chat about my artist journey, where I started, where I want to go, and how my style developed. I think this is an interesting video because this is a new channel, so my growth from here will be well documented, but things I've done beforehand you might not be familiar with, and I probably forgot some of this stuff. I have my laptop open to DeviantArt, Instagram, a bunch of different places, so it's interesting to see how that'll go. The good thing is I didn't delete anything. I might have taken some things down. I might have archived some things, privated some things, but nothing is deleted forever. So I'm able to show you today, which is also something I recommend for everybody. It's just not delete things. I mean, I'm not that old. I don't have that much stuff to have been deleted or to have been lost, but I think it's always good to have things to look back at, even if they're not publicly available on the internet. Just save them in a folder or something. So the first thing I have on my Instagram, before it was called Caballero, it was called something else, and before that it was called Art Reptile or something, back when simple names like that were available on Instagram back in 2012 probably. I started posting art, not the drawings I made, but I used to draw on my hand. Before I painted my nails, I drew everything else on my hand, bright colors, different patterns. The pictures are up on the screen. So I would do this during class, since I was a good enough student that my teachers didn't say anything or didn't tell me to stop, since I was paying attention anyways. It was just a way of distracting myself, and I probably think they preferred me doing that compared to other people drawing on the benches with permanent marker. At least I could wash it off on my own and it didn't stain school property in their minds. It started out as just simple patterns, repetitive things. And the first one that I remember doing, which I really, really enjoyed, is this floral hand design, which made everybody question if I wanted to become a tattoo artist. Not really. I think it's really, really cool. I don't have any tattoos, since I think just drawing things is so much more fun and so much more rewarding. So I can like change it up every day. I'm very indecisive. Looking at the digital art I posted on DeviantArt back in the day. Oh god, my DeviantArt is still public. It's not under a name you probably know, so I don't feel like too bad showing it in any way. Just scrolling to the bottom, because I remember many, many years ago, the artist Piccolo, who you probably already know, he draws like the Beast Boy comics now and a bunch of things like that, did an ink challenge where he drew 365 days of a year and posted something every single day. I remember following that and being amazed at the art and at the dedication. So the first thing I wanted to do in 2015 is when I started. And oh boy, the art is terrible. I'll be sharing some things will remain private. The first thing I did when I got a digital drawing tablet is to draw Howl's Moving Castle. You'll probably see several different iterations of this, because I've drawn this castle I think 4 or 5 times with like complete redos and complete redraws. The first one I did is I had the old Wacom bamboo. Now the bamboos are the really small ones. Before, the Intos were also called bamboo, and was a pen display. It was relatively inexpensive, and the first thing I drew was this. The file size is ridiculously large. I could probably print this in like A0 in like huge posters, and the resolution would be good. I don't know why I did that. I thought this art will be amazing and I need to have it in the biggest size possible. So my old laptop at the time did not like me doing this. Oh god, I think it says the image size I uploaded to DeviantArt was 7,000 by 7,000 pixels. I uploaded this in 2014. I didn't even know you could upload things that are so big to DeviantArt, and I think I even downscaled it to fit, so it was even bigger than that. It was absolutely massive. Don't do this. But it's actually, looking back at it now, I mean, the line work and everything is not great, and the style is super inconsistent. But I think you can already see that I am aware of how color works, which is something I've always been very interested in. So the way the depth works, and there's more blue in the back, and the bright light warms up the colors. So I think in that sense, the artwork isn't terrible for 13-year-old me. I think it's actually quite impressive that I sat down and did all of that. I progressed after that to do a lot of traditional art, a lot of just color pencils and drawings like that. I did a lot of fan art, some of it very closely referenced to other people's fan art, which I shouldn't have done, and I've taken a lot of that down because, of course, stealing other people's art or just being inspired by other people's art and doing the same like style or redraw of that isn't great, and also the art is just absolutely terrible. I share some of them on the screen as well. I did some other Ghibli things, I did some other art things, and I was just super consistent. The next thing I'm really proud of from these is a drawing I did for, I've been slouching, I've been just going lower and lower. Let's go back up here. The next thing that I'm actually really proud of is still in a similar style. So you can see this is like the style I saw everywhere, like very cartoony, very anime, is anime heroines design, which also took forever. The entire city in the background was done by hand, painstakingly, and I remember many days of watching the Great British Bake Off, just filling in little squares for the windows of all of those houses. This was for an anime convention competition, and since I'd been only doing art for a year, I submitted as a beginner, and I didn't win, even though I spent hours on it. And the one that did win was like a pencil sketch, and I was really mad. And to this day, I'm disappointed, but I did sell this at anime conventions in the first few years, so at least I got some thing back. I mean, you can tell which characters were popular at the time and which shows I was watching by who I chose. I really like the way I did the hair. Don't ask me why Sailor Moon's hair is that fringy and like disgusting, because it probably was destroyed and all the ends are split. So that's not what I would do anymore, but I think I'm still kind of proud of the way it turned out and the sheen and everything. There's a bunch of art. I tried realism for a while. So I started cartoony and then I evolved to like even more cartoony, and then I did realism for about a month and a half. There's some things on the screen as well. I drew my cat, which isn't quite realism yet, but it's going that direction, lineless, clean. And then I drew this pumpkin, and then I did some emoji redraws. So I tried these very clean, nice shapes, and you'll see that I go back and forth between extreme line art and then extreme, like, painterly styles. And I'm doing that to this day. 5 years later, I still switch between those, and I'm not quite sure which direction I want to develop more, so I'm just doing a bit of all of it. We need to move from DeviantArt to Instagram, because that's when I continued. Instagram.com/Cabojiro. You should follow me on Instagram. Is it time for the plug? Yes, subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to my Instagram. The ad break is now over. This video was sponsored by me. You should go follow me. Okay. And then after that, I felt that for quite some time my art was growing stagnant. I hadn't developed in a way that I wanted, but then I continued with this painterly style, and that painterly style then evolved into a super simple, flat, geometric, rendered, shaded style, which to this day, my most sold sticker or print at conventions is this turtle. There's a rainbow version of it now. I really cashed in on this design. This was also for a competition. I didn't win. It was for Tofugu, which is a Japanese online learning blog, and specifically for Wanikani, which is their like kanji Japanese learning resource, and the mascot is a turtle and an alligator, Wanikani. So I decided to make the sticker because they were looking for sticker submissions. I didn't win, but again, it was worth it because I got to make stickers from it. I did a bunch of portraits in this style. I did a Spirited Away flat shaded style like this. And I really like this style. I'm just not that good at it, so I kind of stopped doing it. I did some painterly styles after that. Again, Howl is on the screen, Victor is on the screen. So Tombo, which I'm really proud of, from Kiki's Delivery Service, not a single person recognizes him, so I probably didn't do such a good job, but those were my influences at the time. All of these really clean lines, these clean shapes. Yoshi Yoshitani is a big influence, or was at this time. I still love her work. and it has these flat colors, these clean, simple shapes. And I think it really helped evolve my sense of like composition, but also my sense of like design and aesthetic. And it helped me improve colors because those are so important when you don't have a bunch of lines and shapes. Then I went to Japan, or I was in Japan shortly before doing some of these for a year, and I really heavily got inspired by Japanese calligraphy and then also woodblock prints ukiyo-e, which I would love to own, but they're so expensive and so nice. But the city I lived in, Shiojiri, or the city next to Shiojiri, Matsumoto, has one of the biggest ukiyo-e museums in Japan and the biggest private collections. So I got to see a bunch of beautiful prints. I mean, Hokusai's Great Wave is a good example of what these prints look like. Everybody has seen them. But I decided to do an entire zine in this style, combining Studio Ghibli works with ukiyo-e styles. And I think I have it. This was not planned, but I'm sitting in front of my bookshelf. I have it right here. This is how it turned out. And I'm really, really proud of it. This is Ponyo, for example, so you can really see the style. I did this entire thing in a month, which was absolutely sane. Lady Eboshi from Mononoke. And my favorite of all, this super complicated, intricate bathhouse scene from Spirited Away, of course. I did not recommend doing anything in a month, but it really, really helped solidify my style, and I learned so much, and you can see that each piece gets better and better. I did this for Inktober, and seeing the internet shit show surrounding Inktober at the moment, and the problems of the creator ripping off a black artist and his art book in his new Draw Everyday thing I'm not going to promote. I'm probably not going to do Inktober this year, but something else, or follow an unofficial prompt list. But that's how my style then developed, because right after that I got an iPad and I wasn't drawing on a screen tablet anymore. I had since upgraded to an Intuos 4, which is like the old black Wacom drawing pen tablet, so it doesn't have a screen or anything, which is really difficult after some time. I mean, it works and a lot of great artists use it, and the tools really don't like define your art style, but some things are just a lot easier to do if you have the right tools, or if you have better tools. So I got inspired so much more to do art on an iPad because it's convenient. I can do it on my lap, I can take it on the go, and I don't need so many supplies. So that really boosted my output and also the way I draw, because the tools really do matter. People always say the brushes don't matter and you can do art whichever way you want. But having like solid brushes and tools and knowing how to use them makes such a huge difference. And I can see on my Instagram, the second I got the iPad, my output increased 4 or 5 times. I created a lot of woodblock inspired prints. Something I'm really, really proud of is my Kabuki X Drag Queen series. So Kabuki is a Japanese form of theater from the 17th century, which is a lot of cross-dressing, a lot of makeup, a lot of flamboyant costumes. And I drew Trixie Martel, I drew Violet Chachki, and I drew Bianca Del Rio so far. Then I drew this Tango, which shows my love for pattern and intricate designs. You can see I did a full 180 from the simple like flat lay design to a really detailed, intricate, elaborate design, which I really love. I did some Pokemon prints, and then I started going into a more painterly direction again, doing some backgrounds. For the first time ever, I'm doing backgrounds and not just single people or items. I did Howard's bedroom redraw, which took forever, but I'm really proud of. I did a Japanese temple, and then I did another Japanese temple, but this time spooky moth witchy themed. I also fell in love with drawing objects instead of people, so I did a bunch of those illustrations with masks and just Japanese things. I did Japan June, and these are all in a relatively similar style with line work. And my most recent iteration, and the where I am right now, and I'll continue probably to develop, is a more painterly style with outlines. So things like this Daruma or these Japanese things prints. So that's where I'm at. That's my journey. I hope this helped. I was always encouraged to do art from a really, really young age, and I always did whatever I wanted to. For a short period of time in between, I did fan art that I thought would sell at conventions, and it just didn't make me happy, so I kind of stopped doing that. And now I'm doing weird things that probably nobody wants, but I have a convention next week, and so let's find out if it'll go well. This is mostly for me. I want to develop my own skills and like become better at doing these kinds of things. So thank you for sticking around, me talking for about 15 minutes on the art I like to do and like the styles I'm exploring. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions about any of the styles, want me to revisit something, explain something, I'll happily do that in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.